You said you were going to upload the Isaac video. You lied to us. I lie to you guys all the time. So here's what I was thinking. So Isaac Butterfield. So a while back, I made a video on Isaac Butterfield where I made fun of him. He was doing some dumbass like looking at people's TikToks to make fun of them, but it was all very juvenile and reactionary and stuff. So I made fun of him. I got in a bunch of good digs, whatever. And then just a few days ago, he made a video about me, which was full of personal attacks and unflattering comments on my appearance and so on and so forth. And it ended with a segment from Sydney Watson, who was responding to a bit of drama from a little while back, where I said that I didn't believe a claim she made where a sexual assault she experienced wasn't followed up on the police because the police told her that they were going to chalk it up to cultural differences. And I said I didn't believe that, and some people took that as me saying I didn't believe that she was raped at all, which, whatever, I've done videos and all that before. But anyway, so I responded to Sydney Watson and Isaac Butterfield's response to my response to Isaac Butterfield's response to those TikTok people. And when I responded to it on stream just a few days ago, I was getting in the good jabs, I was throwing it out there. But in retrospect, there are a couple of problems, and they're the reason why I don't plan on actually releasing the video. First of all, but it was so funny. Oh, I know, I'm a very funny guy. But first of all, the main issue is I don't like getting locked in the infinite recursive content spiral. It's not interesting to me. I don't like that. Like, they make a vid, then I make a vid, then they make a vid. I don't like that. It's just a very tedious pattern that I'm not a fan of. Second of all, if I did it, it would be an ego thing. Excuse me. I don't stand to gain anything from engaging with Isaac Butterfield. Isaac Butterfield's audience is full of brainlet 12-year-olds and worse, Australians. I don't think, if he makes another video, if he engages with me, his audience isn't going to see my shit and go like, wow, oh my god, what reasonable perspectives by this Vosh guy. No, they're just going to get caught up in some Keemstar-esque drama spiral. So there's no benefit to it. It doesn't benefit me to do it. And third of all, and this is the biggest problem, is that, honestly, my first video on Isaac was a little fucked up. When I was watching his response and he was insulting my appearance, and he called me a sexual predator, and he made fun of the ear keloid things or whatever, which I get pretty often, so that's not too hurtful or whatever. I was thinking, damn, this guy went pretty hard against me. But then as he went further into the video, he showed my original video, and I called him like a groomer, like a lot. Like, calling a person a groomer once is a funny, hilarious joke that we should all try out sometime or another. But later on in my original video, the one I never released, I said it like multiple times. And one of them was pretty deadpan. Now, I was joking. I don't actually believe that being weird about people on TikTok is an indication that a person is a sexual predator. But the way that I came off was, I think, honestly, really inappropriate. I'm being serious. Now, mind you, Isaac Butterfield is still a dumb fuck who makes horrible content. And Sydney Watson's little segment at the end, where she cited a bunch of articles from literal SPLC-recognized hate groups about Muslims from all over the world, and all this shit is like unreliable data pick that she's trying to use to prove this point that the Western world is too PC to admit the Muslim rape culture, Nah, fuck that. I completely reject that. And Sydney Watson's bit at the end there was flagrantly dishonest. I talked about that in the segment, and that's the part that I wish I could publish on its own. Because Sydney Watson's behavior, where she uses her experience as a victim of sexual assault to cynically justify a conspiratorial political narrative that she backs up by citing hate groups, is disgusting to me, If you were raped by a brown person or a Muslim or whatever, oh, yeah, that happens. I mean, no shit, that happens. Yeah, for sure. And if that wasn't followed up on by the police, yeah, that happens all the time. No shit, that happens to when white people rape white people, that happens too. But the idea that, like, the Western world is unwilling to come to grips, what's the term? Self-destructive altruism, pathological altruism, you know what I mean? It's a far-right conspiracy theory. So I reject that wholeheartedly. I feel nothing but sympathy for Sydney Watson's actual experience with sexual assault. I don't think that her pain gives her credence to cynically weaponize her assault as a political weapon to back up conspiracy theories. It's funny because that was her argument in the Me Too segment that I saw in Jubilee that kickstarted all of this. She was saying she thought the Me Too movement had gone too far and people were using it to cynically express their own political views. And then I mean, is it a performance piece? Is she like doing it herself? I don't know. Whatever the case may be, you know what they say? You know what that like ancient meme is? They say, if you die on a hill defending the bad memes, nobody will stick around to watch the good ones. That's what they say. If I'm unwilling to own up to fuck ups, then nobody's gonna pay attention to me when I'm rocking the house, you know? So, with the greatest possible degree of sincerity I'm capable of, because I've been told that I come off sarcastic no matter what I say, the grooming comments about Isaac Butterfield were fucked up. And while I think the comments he made were also fucked up and as equally slanderous as my comments, they were pretty much warranted given my initial behavior. So that's why I'm not doing the full response. Yeah, it's a Winston Churchill quote. That's right. Anyway, those are my feelings on it. And from now on, and this is what I want to, because what I want to focus on. I don't like blood sports that much. Like just bringing a person on and just insulting over and over and over and over again. It does get really boring, and it gets narcissistic. It's just a vacuous, endorsement of your own rhetorical abilities to the benefit of nobody. What I like is narrowing discourse within a strict range of topics that I think are interesting. And then when things get spicy, we can throw a little insults back and forth, you know? But it has to be warranted, and it has to be funny, and it has to be respectful given the context. I wouldn't like debate like a random conservative to go on here and then start making comments about like what a massive piece of shit he is and that like I fucked his mom or something like that. I don't know, that sounds juvenile, but you have to be led up to that point. And Isaac Butterfield just hadn't done anything to warrant that kind of nuclear level haha groomer take from me. It's just it wasn't warranted. It's not worthwhile, you know? Brainless blood sports leads to like that Ethan Ralph thing, you know? Just 3 hours of screaming at one another with no issues being advanced because there's no room for actual discourse. And I'll try to keep things a little bit above bar from this point forward, you know? Anyway, so maybe I'll upload this, but I won't upload, I guess, either of the Isaac Butterfield segments for that reason. And if that makes me like a pussy who lost or who backed out, I'll totally own that. That's totally fine. That's what I get for picking stupid fights to begin with, or by picking reasonable fights in a stupid way. If that's the case, then sure, whatever. I mean, that's fine. I'm not that prideful.